It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. On this Friday, we made it to the end of the week. He is Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. Hope you're having a fantastic beginning to your day. JoJo, what's up?
Can you hear?
Huh?
Can you hear?
Huh?
You got me. How was it last night, Pumpkin?
It's good, man. Look, I got to tell you, that Joe Rex Road, I mean, he is just a hoot. I mean, he shows up in his skinny jeans and he's got his T-shirt on. He's got eye black on. His son is like not wanting to even acknowledge him, but he was ready to go. I mean, he painted fingernails. He
had it all going on.
He was ready. I'm impressed he made it to the show today. I'm impressed I made it to. Actually, it wasn't that bad. It's just the Metallica is loud. I mean, that's for sure.
Okay.
Voice is okay though, but I got to tell you that band, they've been around for what, 30-something years. I mean, they still bring it every time. I mean, they're fantastic.
Oh, I'm sure. Did everybody go crazy for Enter Sandman?
Well, I don't want to spoil too much but how this works is there's two shows, right?
Okay.
The set lists are different each night. So there are some songs that they did not play last night, but they will play Saturday night.
Hold up.
Yes.
They did not play that song?
They did not. They'll play it tomorrow.
Okay. I have a problem with that.
But no, okay.
Because I ain't going to Saturday night show.
You have a problem if you're not going to both shows. I think it's brilliant because it basically makes you buy tickets to two shows.
No, I'm not. I want to see that show is the most important show that I'm at. I want to hear Enter Sandman.
I get it.
That's like one time when Tommy Two-Tone played here in town and he didn't sing
Jenny.
Yeah. I'm like, why?
Clapton didn't do Layla one time.
Why the hell am I here?
Sure.
Black Crowes didn't do one of their main song. I forget what it
Hard
is.
to Handle.
Yeah, they didn't play that one time because he didn't want to. I'd want my money back.
No, I mean, but they tell you going in how
I know
this is
that.
going to work. You're just,
but it's the biggest, most massive song they've ever had.
I agree, but
it's like
I like the set. I'm good
Okay,
with it. I'm
right.
fine with it.
It's like going to see. Are you going Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean that's
Must
why.
be nice.
That's why I'm fine with it.
That's why you're fine with it. It's like going to see Vanilla Ice.
Hey, I tried to take you last night.
The weather was nice. I regretted it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it was really. It was.
You know what? I'm going to give a shout out to who went with me because I was really shocked when they said yes. Our good friend Katie Myers went and rocked out to Metallica last night for the first time in her life.
I was going to say Brian Callahan, but I guess I've been wrong.
We're not buddies.
Okay.
I mean, he's fine, but we're not buddies.
Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad you had fun. Now, our thing is, we were worried that you were not going to show up this morning, which was our fault.
I kind of did that on purpose. I was kind of like, I was running a little behind this morning, and I did the dumb thing where I needed gas, and I waited. And all that stuff.
Yes.
But I was like, you know what? I'm going to make them think that I'm just like passed out somewhere.
We were thinking.
I really did. I was like, oh no, does somebody need to call him or do like just pin him somewhere?
And the only one with any kind of sense is Ian. He's like, should we call him? I was like, I don't want to wake him up. If he's not going to make it.
Here's the thing. You have my location.
I didn't even think about it.
You can check where
I didn't even. I was like, where is he? I didn't even look at that. I'm sorry, I did not. Yeah, so
no, but it was fine. And like I mean, I had 3 beers like total.
Okay,
so I was not rocking it. Now tomorrow night might be a little bit of a different story, but
right.
Dr. Crane, get the Uber ready.
Pivot it back.
Well, I mean, we were worried, and Nick, Dr. Crane's like, "What are we gonna do?" I was like, "Cue up McLean, Brett Kern, Wyshynski, whoever else we've had on for the last 9 months." Now, you did. I think you've got a great question today, one that I've argued with people for years about, and the question is,
okay, we're going right to it. So here's the question of the day: when you go to a concert, do you listen to the band or the artist that you're going to see on the way to the concert? I do. I've just like yesterday when I left here, I was listening to Metallica and Pantera all afternoon, just getting hype. Pantera was really good too, by the way. They opened for Metallica. So I do. So that's the question. Do you listen to the band or artist that you're going to see on the way to the concert?
I am a no.
You say no.
Do not. I do not listen to the band if I'm going to the concert. I don't do it. And there's no right or wrong. And I don't know why I don't. I just don't do it. I just want to get fired up because it's the anticipation. It's like going to see Rick Springfield, listen to Jesse's Girl. I'm like, I'd rather see him do it when I get there. So we're 50-50 on this. You say yes, I say no.
Dr. Crane, what about you?
I've been guilty of doing so, but I try not to.
Okay.
But why not?
Well, just because like if you're gonna hear that music already, then you're just already like, why are you paying money to see them? Like it's on the phone. So I think you get a whole different atmosphere. Like prime example, I want to see Luke Combs at Nissan Stadium. Hearing it live is 10 times better than hearing it on a Spotify.
Okay.
So that's why I don't listen to it. If I had to choose, I'd say no. But I've been guilty of doing it.
I'll say this to that point. If you go see a band or an artist and the recording is better than the live show, then they got a problem.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Like if the studio album is better than seeing them live, then that's a massive problem.
How'd they sound last night?
Great. I mean, I thought they were fantastic.
Good.
I mean, James Hetfield's 61 years old. Lars Ulrich is 61 years old. And I know age is but a number, but like you would think they're still in their 30s. I mean, time has they've had some party time over the years, but like they
yes, they have.
They look it, but I mean they didn't miss a note. I mean, they were great.
Well,
there was a time where so what was cool is the whole stage was in the round, and they basically had like I guess 4 drum sets because Lars started on one part of the stage, did a few songs, that drum set would lower, then another one would come up on, another part of the stage, he'd go to that one. So he kept like they kept moving around. And then the other guys would kind of walk around the whole thing, but they kept moving the drum set so he could be, facing different parts of the audience, and the drum set rotated, which was really cool. But there was one point where something broke on one of the drum sets. And so to kill time, James is just sitting there with his guitar and starts playing Smoke on the Water.
Oh, nice.
It was really cool.
Well, all right, here's a dumb question. How did they come out?
So they came out through the visitors tunnel and like high-fived the fans and stuff on the floor. They didn't put a lot of times at Garth or whatever it shows there, they'll bring a tunnel out.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. It was
just
really
walked
cool.
out like regular dudes.
Yeah, they had security. I mean, they had it roped off, but I mean, it was cool.
Walked out. That's cool.
Yeah, but they came out of where the visitors come out.
Oh, that's nice then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they have them backstage? When U2 came, they showed them like backstage coming out.
Yeah.
Walking down like the backstage and everything on the Jumbotron, but none of that.
No, so it was kind of a simple set, which I like that, but they had probably like 10 small trons that were round that were on just surrounding the stage up top, and they would show them, but then they'd show like graphics and stuff. And what was cool is they did a song from their first album, and what they would put up there was ticket stubs from all the times they've played Nashville. So there was Municipal, there was Sommet Center, there was Gaylord Entertainment Center. Like it was all the ticket stubs from every time they've played Nashville over the years. So that was pretty tight. I laughed too because a lot of the color scheme was Predators, not Titans.
Really?
Yeah.
God, you said the Sommet Center. I haven't heard that word in
forever.
I
know. So really good show. If you're going tomorrow night, you're in for a treat. And Limp Bizkit going to be the opener as well. So
Pantera was just last night.
Pantera was last night. Limp Bizkit is tomorrow.
Okay,
which I'm pumped about. I mean, like my age, that's my wheelhouse.
Well, good. You'll have
Ian. Did you rock out to some Limp Bizkit back in the day?
In high school, I have to admit, I remember driving around my parents' Nissan Altima blasting Limp Bizkit CD.
Yeah. When that riff for Break Stuff hits, I'm gonna lose my mind.
How I'm going to ask you 1,000 questions.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Lars Ulrich. I mean, that's pretty badass.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Well, I told Katie, I'm like, you're going to see one of the best drummers in the world in Lars Ulrich. I mean, he's crazy, but he's awesome.
Somebody out there, he's related to, or His uncle is a famous tennis player, and I can't pull it up right now.
I don't know.
Is a famous because he was going to be a tennis player and he got injured and didn't do it.
I think it was cool too that they played a song, and Metallica fans, you'll have to help me of the significance to this. But they played a song in the middle of the set called Orion and dedicated that to Cliff Burton, who was, their bandmate that died back in the 80s, the bus crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only I mean, that's creepy too,
Yeah.
man.
But they honored him. So I thought that was pretty cool. But definitely a good show. So our question of the day, we will talk some sports, but our question of the day is, when you go to a concert, do you listen to that artist, to that band on the way to the concert? 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll have some fun with that throughout the show. And then who knows what else we have coming today. There's something that might happen. We just got to make sure that that's all locked up.
Right.
So
I'm with you, man. I'm following the lead.
down to the wire. That's how it is. But we'll get some of your answers to our question of the day coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Friday. A little Metallica, For Whom the Bell Tolls. Our question of the day, when you go to a concert, do you listen to that band or artist on the way to the show? 615-737-1025. I say yes. Joe says no. Dr. Crane's kind of indifferent.
I'll say no. I'll
Okay,
be on
he's
one
going
side or
no.
the other.
Devin and Dixon, I think it's almost a must you listen to who you're going to see in concert on your way to the show. Absolute must.
All right. That's an absolute must then. I say no.
Let's see. Joey and Bellevue's just commenting on when Rob played in the middle of the snake pit. That was awesome. Apparently a few of our listeners were there and saw me, so you come say hi next time for sure. Corey says, do I listen to artists' music on the way to the show? No way. 1025 is always playing for me. LOL.
Yeah.
You're not going to win anything today, but thank you. Let's see. Can't read that. Can't wait for tomorrow night. Love Limp Bizkit. Let's go. Appreciate the heads up. That's from B-Man. 8881 disagrees with me. Y'all are trolling. Lars is not a good drummer. He's serviceable, but absolutely carried by Hetfield.
Yeah. I'm not cool enough to call him Het, but
Yeah,
I get all that.
I guess.
I don't know music, but
I think Lars is a pretty good drummer.
yeah, right.
Let's see. Nevada Josh, I am so pumped for tomorrow. I'll be there too. And of course, we will be listening to Metallica all the way from Woodlawn to Nissan Stadium.
Hey, who was going to beat up the Limp Bizkit guy in a song? Fred Durst. Who was it? A Limp Bizkit. He was going to fight him. Eminem. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they ever fight?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Chris in Nashville says hard no on what? You don't listen to the
to the band. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, did you listen to Metallica? You said on the way there. Okay.
And Pantera. Joey from Bellevue says I was listening to Jared on the way to the concert. That's loud too.
That's really is loud.
Some might call it loud and obnoxious.
Oh yes, man.
For sure a must though. Maybe not the set list, but for sure the catalog. Yeah, I didn't listen to a set list. I put it on shuffle and just listened to
Let It Go.
Let It Go. I listened to a lot of old, like Kill 'Em All, For Justice for All, like some of the old albums.
What time did the show end?
About 11.
Not bad.
Curfew.
Take you back. Took a while to get back to the hotel and
No
your car and everything. Easy.
No, it was quick.
Okay.
It was quick. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. During the last song, there is a long solo, and when the solo started, I was like, "All right, let's go. Step out. We've got a head start." I'm old now.
You're like
Okay.
the Music City Miracle. You get out of there, man.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the solo, and I knew she didn't care, so I was like, "All right, let's go."
All right.
Yeah.
Proud of you. That's a little haul there from the
Yeah, no,
stadium
it was
back
good.
over
Got
the
my
mountain.
steps in last night. Got
Yeah.
my steps in.
Wait, help me out. Where were your seats? Were you on the floor or in the stands?
No, we were at a club level.
Okay. Oh, it's even better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not bad. They were great. Yeah, they were great. So let's see. I will skip the ones I know and listen to the ones I'm not familiar with.
Okay. I can see that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Al says, no way I listen to the music before the show. That would be like eating a juicy steak before going to dinner at Cane Prime, I think is what he means.
Yeah. That's fancy.
Yeah.
Do all that. But no, I don't listen. Dr. Crane is indifferent. And I know Ian listened to the Wiggles when he went and saw them at the Ryman.
Who?
The Wiggles.
Oh, the Wiggles.
Look at Ian. It's an Australian kids group that just
Sorry, I'm
gets on every nerve.
communicating with the agent for our potential
That's fine,
10
brother.
o'clock guest.
Don't worry
that
about it.
probably isn't going to happen, but
That's okay.
we'll see.
If
That's
I may
all right. It
add
will
to
at some
this
point.
Yeah, buddy.
conversation with the music thing,
Sure.
for me, I'm going to use Luke Combs as an example again. He has a lot of off the beaten path tracks on a lot of his older albums. That is,
We call those deep cuts.
yes, the deep cuts. I would listen to those because I know they will not be performed at the concert.
Yeah,
So I'll do that.
that's fair.
But as for music,
I like
will be
that.
played,
I could see that. I'll give you that for that. Yeah.
I think
The-
it's fair.
Okay, so here's a secondary question to our question. If you go to a show like there's a song like that's popular, but not necessarily mainstream, so it's 50-50 if they're going to play it or not. does it ruin the show for you if they don't play it? Like if it's your favorite song?
Yes. Ruin's a tough word. Disappointed. I'll take that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of how I am. It's like I know going in, I'm probably not going to hear it,
right.
But
now,
it's like,
so let me ask you this off the question of, do you listen to the band? Do you go there? We went and saw Sammy Hagar, me, you, Ricky, and Hair Metal Henry. And you guys pulled up the set list. I never pull up the set list. I don't want to know what's coming next.
So I used to be that way. And now that I know I can do it, I can't.
Why do you do it?
I don't know. It's like using a cheat code on a video game back in the day. It's just like, I don't know. But yeah, I do. I do it.
I've never done it. That night when you guys pulled up the Sammy Hagar list, I didn't want to see it.
Well, I did that because I wanted to see if he was going to be more, if it was going to be more Sammy Hagar, if it was going to be more Van Halen, and it was mainly just Van Halen.
Right.
I mean, he did some of his single stuff, but like that was okay. So there's a prime example. I think it's "Your Love Is Driving Me Crazy" is one of my favorite Sammy Hagar songs, and he didn't do that, but he did a lot of Van Halen, including some DLR Van Halen. So
yeah,
I mean that was cool, and that's the closest thing I'm ever going to get to seeing Van Halen.
True. So, yeah. I've never done it. I something about the excitement. Like, what's next? And then you hear that, I was like, oh yeah, and you get all that. To me, it still goes back to when I was 15 years old. Like, I'd like to be surprised by that.
But see, when you were here's also the big difference too, and this is one of my gripes. When you were 15 years old and you went and saw Metallica, they play, you see them here Saturday night in Nashville. The set list that they had, 2 days later in Atlanta is going to be different because they used to just do that. Like they'd sit there and like, all right, what do we want to do tonight, boys? Like, stuff like that. Now it's so scripted and it's not just them. I mean, it's every tour is like, because all the lights have to be right. Like it's a production.
Yeah.
It used to be just like, all right, what's next? And that's just that doesn't happen anymore.
Okay. I'm just not going to do it. I like
Hair Metal Henry says set list knowledge is a way to beat the traffic. He's not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. No.
Al says, keep it clean, Big Joe. We don't want to hear you say Wiggles in any context.
Well, that's what I get for Ian for going to see the Wiggles at the Ryman.
Taylor says Kyler Murray doesn't listen to songs by the artist he's about to see. He also doesn't watch film on the team he's about to play.
But he does watch the Wiggles because he's a tiny guy.
You're obsessed with the Wiggles today. Let's go to the phone. 615-737-1025. Wes wants to weigh in on our question of the day. Wes, what's up?
What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Yeah, so I have a story, but I think it kind of fits in with this theme here. But I absolutely listen to the music. I don't know what it is. I'm just a music guy. So if I'm going to see somebody, I'm just gonna relish in their music until I get there, and then when I get there, get to see it live. Like it's something that I do. But this is kind of a different aspect of it. So not too long ago, I won a couple of Preds tickets for the very last Preds game, and I decided I was going to take my daughter to the first Preds game. She had no idea what we were doing. She's 10 years old. She doesn't even really know what a goal is, So I'm trying to teach her little things here and there, and I kept her on the edge of her seat. She had no idea, but she knows when we're getting close to downtown where we're at, and she starts picking up on stuff. And I said, look, I'm going to play a song for you. And I want you to listen to this song because you're going to need to know the words to it. And I don't listen to country music. So I like it. I love it on. She listened to it and the song was over and she said, Dad, why did you play that song? And I said, did you not like it? Did you not love it? She said, no, I don't even want any more of it. And I said, okay. Well, we go flash forward an hour later, the Preds go down. They're losing the last game of the season by a goal, and the Preds somehow come back and they score a goal. I turn around, my kid's standing up with 3 foam fingers and a painted face, screaming the lyrics to this song. And at that point, I was like, "Yeah, I made the right choice on the way here." So I just had to share that with you guys. I thought that was a really cool memory that I had with my kids. So.
Thank you, Wes.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. That's a good one.
It is.
She's hooked now.
She is hooked for life. Generational fan, man.
615-737-1025. We will continue to get to the question of the day as we go along on this fine show. But coming up next, Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver. We'll ask him this question and probably some Titans things too. Oh, wow. That's an interesting question on Good Morning Football. Buying or keep trying? Titans will be this year's Commanders. We'll discuss that and much more with Chris. Coming up next, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Friday. Our buddy Ricky, I don't know who came up with this, but somebody did a Titans media depth chart that has like all members of the Titans media on it, and I'm listed as the punter, so I need to talk to Brett Kern on some punting tips. That's fantastic. Jim Wyatt is the quarterback. I think we will all agree Jimmy's our quarterback.
I like it.
We'll go with that. Let's bring in forever Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders, who's online with us. Yeah, how do you feel about me as a punter?
Champ, no. Obviously, you're an offensive guard or a center. I think you'll be pretty good at center, but as a punter, nah, man. I don't know if you can lift your leg up that high.
No, I can't. That's 100% true. But it was funny back in the day, like because I was obviously a big kid. The coaches were like, "Will you please come play football?" And they told me like, "We'll put you at right tackle." I'm like, "I don't want to be a right tackle. I want to be a wide receiver like Chris Sanders." But
could you play wide receiver right now? Could you run the route tree right now?
Chris, come on.
Okay, I'm sorry, man.
You know the answer to that question. The answer is no. I'd be like, "What's an out route? What's a hitch?
What's a seam? What?"
The question is, could you play wide receiver right now? And I'd say the answer is yes.
No.
As long as it's two-hand touch, right?
Not even two-hand touch. It's funny because I walked up the stairs the other day and my knee swelled up. I'm like, what am I doing? I didn't even run a route. It just swelled up. My baby was like, why is your knee swell? I'm like, I don't know. That's how bad I am right now.
So the Titans introduced Tyler Lockett the other day, and I know Brian Callahan had a lot of good things to say about him. And I don't want to get too excited about a veteran, wide receiver coming in here because we've seen that a lot over the years with this team. But I do love the idea of him because you got a young receiving core to go with Ridley. You've drafted a couple guys, and you have a rookie quarterback. I feel like this might turn out to be a pretty brilliant move by the Titans, no matter what the production is, but just to have him in the room.
Yeah, I mean, just experience. And I watched him over the years. I mean, and I love what he does. The one thing that he does well is he can run every route. He can play inside. He can play outside. He can do things to help a young quarterback. But here's the thing that's really going to help Cam Ward is with Tyler Lockett is going to really communicate on what he wants him to do. Like just say if they run a seam or he runs a little curl, he knows exactly how to communicate to the quarterback on where to place the ball to make him feel comfortable, to understand, breakdown coverages and things like that. It's kind of like, just say if they were in a cover two and there was somebody on the slot, you saw the safety kind of go over and he blitzes off the slot. So now you got Tyler Lockett that can go and say, okay, listen, this is what you can look for. When the safety starts to shift over, this is what's going to happen. So now, as opposed to Cam Ward having one set of eyes, he has two sets of eyes with Tyler Lockett being one of those eyes.
Talking to Chris Sanders. You ready,
My
baby?
guy.
Here we go.
Let's go. Joy.
I like this.
Joy.
You know what it is? It's joy and pain, baby.
Joy and pain.
Here it comes.
Rob Bass.
Yeah, Rob Bass.
Yeah. Here we go. Joy. No, it ain't going to come with the thing yet.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Pain. Sunshine. And rain. Come on, guys. That's beautiful.
I love it.
That's so good.
So good. Let me ask you this. Right now, Chase and I count. There's like 19 wide receivers on the Titans.
100.
So, there's a guy like Colton Dow, 7th-round draft choice last year. I mean, he was great at UT Martin. Does a guy like Colton Dow have a chance?
I mean, it all depends on what he brings to the table. Everybody knows he can play a little bit of wide receiver, but you got to play special teams. But there's so many guys in this receiver room. You got Van Jefferson, you got Oliver Bryce, a whole bunch of guys. But what's going to separate Colton Dowell from making the team is he's got to play special teams. He's got to do more things just than playing wide receiver. Because I remember in 1999. We had a lot of receivers. We had Kevin Dyson, Derek Mason, Isaac Bird, Yancey Thigpen. We had a lot of guys that can play, and we actually kept 7 on that roster because we had so many good guys. So what Colton Dowell has to do, he has to make the coaches, make it be a hard decision because at the end of the day, if you don't show up on field and you don't make plays, or be on special teams, you're going to find yourself out of here. So he has to keep showing up on film.
All those receivers, and still Frank Wycheck led the team in receptions.
I know. I got like a ball every other game.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. When Jerry Rice came out of Mississippi Valley State in 1985, he ran a 4.65 40, according to reports. And like, oh, if that happened today, you'd be like, oh my goodness. Xavier Restrepo, how do you say his name?
Restrepo.
I do the same thing, Restrepo.
All right, ran a 4.85, but I looked at him, Chris, all of his tape. That dude knows how to get open.
Thank you. Please, no. Please say that again.
He knows how to get open.
Yeah, he knows how to get open.
Right.
Let me break this down. But that's what it's all about. Because if you have, and I'm gonna say this in a respectful way, Tyrone Calico, guy can run a 4.3, 4.2, but he couldn't understand how to run routes. Let me break this down to the listeners. Of it's not just about running a 4.3, it's about understanding how to get open. Look at Julian Edelman. He got drafted in the 7th round, 4.52. Then you got Danny Amendola, not drafted, ran a 4.58, and then you have Wes Welker, one of the best receivers that come out of the Patriots, ran a 4.65 undrafted. But here's the quality that those guys have and Restrepo have. Number one, they move the chains. Number two, they're Mr. Reliable. Number three, they're the best route runners. It's about creating a separation. It's about getting a guy off the spot. It's about lying with your eyes. It's about bursting off the cut, coming back to the ball. It's the little things, because if I'm just a fast guy, but I don't have a plan at the line of scrimmage, I don't have a plan in my second phase of the route, and then I don't have a plan at the top of the route, I'm just a fast guy. Those guys that I just named, and Xavier, whatever his name is, thank you so much. They have a plan. And that's why one of the best receivers that I've ever been around, number one was Webster Slaughter, and another one was Derek Mason. The reason why they were so good is Derek Mason, at the line of scrimmage, was a freaking dog. His acceleration point in his route and what he did at the top route created the separation. So it's not about speed. It's about having a game plan and running routes.
I love it. I just think watching him, the way he gets open, his acceleration, and they got him here. And look, he's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder. He's pissed off. I think it's great.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You got a quarterback you just drafted, Cam Ward. So now if he gets in trouble in practice and can't see some things, now you got a guy that he's familiar with, Restrepo. So that's just made your quarterback feel more comfortable and bringing in a guy that he's familiar with, that even if he gets a little trouble, he can go to the security blanket with Xavier Restrepo.
I'm just glad that you guys have brought him up, because – and I know Jared's on his way to Atlanta because he's doing his show there today. But but like just dismissing a guy because he's undrafted, which is exactly what Jared did, is like just the dumbest thing on the face of this earth. I mean, you got two guys in the 4th round. I mean, 4th round is a kind of a coin flip, but I think so is an undrafted guy that clearly had production in college. And just because you ran a 4.8 at the combine, let me see it on the field.
You said something profound, Chase. You said production. You may get a lot of fast guys, but don't produce. You may get a fast guy that catches 12 balls for 100-something yards, but then you got Restrepo that catches 70 balls for 800 yards. That means he gets open. And I'm glad you said it, because it just ticks me off, because I coach at Montgomery Bell Academy, and a lot of the receivers that I coach are like 5'4", 4'7", 4'8", but they create separation. So a lot of colleges don't look at them because they're not fast, but they're creating separation. They're getting open. They're getting in the right spot. They get a feel of what the quarterback's doing. And I just get so mad that you already qualify a guy that runs 4.3. Oh, he's great, but can't run routes. But then you got a guy that's consistent and just kind of diss him. I just think it's very unfair.
I would agree with you on that.
No, the whole thing is, and I go back, be like, well, somebody's like, well, Jerry Rice was Jerry Rice. Yeah, I know that. But in today's game, all we talk about, hey, a 4.6, 4.7. He's not going to. I just think sometimes, as this
well. I mean, isn't sub 5 good?
Come on. He needs to come over and sit over here on the sidelines with me.
Right. I mean, you can see it when there's a 4.4 versus a 4.8. You can tell, but I know this, but the same thing is, a guy comes out today, it's like, wow, 4.6, he's not going to get the job done. But this, Chris, there's 40 speed and there's football speed. I don't know why we always differentiate.
Coach,
yes.
Coach, say that again. Yeah. Coach, please say that again. What did you just say? Please say it again.
There's football speed and there's 40 speed.
Thank you so much. come on, Coach, I love you. That's beautiful because here's the thing is we have a lot of guys that run 4.3 in the 40 but play 4.8. You got Jerry Rice.
Right.
You got Jerry Rice that ran 4.7, but he played 4.7. He get out of his cut at 4.7. And you got receivers that run at 4.3, but they get out of their cut at 5 flat. So that's the difference. It's about carrying your speed through the cut. It's about carrying your speed when you run a corner route. It's carrying your speed when you burst at the top of the route, because there's a lot of guys that run straight line but can't get out of their cut full speed. And that's why I like Restrepo, because he can do those things at 4.8.
Well, I go back. I love Dan Marino when he had Clayton and Duper on his team. And I remember an interview a long time ago. They're like, we run to where the ball's going, right? And so Dan knows where we are. We run to where the ball's going. I was like, not where we were, not what's happening, but where the ball is going. And they understood the routes. A lot of receivers don't understand the routes now.
Dude, your new name is Coach. You saying some good things. No, I mean, seriously, you saying some good things. They understand the route. They got to understand it, whatever coverage I have, how do I run the route accordingly? Because if it's like this, my rookie season, I got a lot of press coverage. And I would just beat them off the line of scrimmage, touchdown. But then the second year, they're like, okay, we know who you are. So they put a safety over top. They started to bracket me. So now I had to understand how to run routes against that. So, what helped me get to where I need to be was Les Steckel. He taught me how to burst off the cut. He taught me if I got brackets coverage to not run the route off the guy behind me on the top of the guy. If it's cover 3, how to do the things to be cover 3. So if I'm just a fast guy, I'm just a fast guy. I want to be a complete receiver and running a route tree.
Chris, I want to ask you this question because we joke when we talk about 1999, but our owner Bud Walters went to an event yesterday, and Bert Nyhill, the president of the Titans, was there and was talking about the kind of the new stadium and the new team and the new look, and he made a comment, and I'm hearing this secondhand, so I may be paraphrasing, but he basically said when the Titans first got here, we had our heroes. There were our heroes on this team, and that's what they eventually want to try and get back to with this new team. And you think about that, Chris. I mean, whether it was you or Steve or Eddie or Derek later on, Frank. I mean, those were household names that we all knew, and they really haven't had that for a while, outside of a few exceptions. Derrick Henry, obviously, being one of those. But like true heroes, how do they get back to that point with this team, or is it just too much of a different time?
You gotta first. It's got to start with your quarterback, and I think that when you have Warren Moon passing the torch to Cam Ward, I think that's a start. When you talk about heroes in 1999, it wasn't just the heroes that were up front; it was the heroes behind the scene, like a Brad Hopkins, like a Bruce Matthews, like a Benji Olsen. Olsen. You had guys like that wasn't always in the press, but was willing to do the dirty work, and then you had Lord have mercy. Then you have a receiving core that was unselfish. We had Yancey Thigpen, but then you had a Kevin Dyson. Then you have a Derek Mason, who I have so much respect for. That was the 6th receiver at the time. He wasn't. He was in the rotation, but he was the 6th receiver at the time. To where it ain't about just being the hero. It's being a hero at the moment. And he became a hero in 1999, the AFC Championship game, where he was just kind of just chilling a little bit. All of a sudden, he makes one of the biggest plays in franchise history. Is making a punt return in the AFC Championship game. Hero. So when you get back to that aspect, you got to get guys that have the same vision, the same heart, that just love football and don't care about the accolades. That's what a hero is.
You mentioned that love football. I found it very interesting that a lot of teams after the draft were talking about that they took guys off their board because of lack of love of football. And in this NIL transfer portal era,
it's awful.
I think they have to do that more, and it's pretty crazy to see.
Yeah, you got to get guys that love football, because listen, there's nothing wrong with having nice things, but if your focus is the nice things, then you're going to start working. I remember maybe about 10 years ago, I did a speaking engagement with Chris Hope. He said this, and this made the back of my hair stand up. He said, "Why would I work all my life to get to the NFL and stop working?"
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what guys do. Oh, I made it. I got the Lamborghini, which is great. I want a Lamborghini, but I want to be known as a guy who loves football. Just love football, and we got to get back to that situation.
They should have given you that Buick you jumped over in Riverfront Stadium.
No,
you scored a touchdown.
That was a Yugo.
Oh man.
Real quick, Chris, Wes in Hermitage
Sure.
checks in. He said, I would put all the money in my savings to bet that Chris Sanders would have a better season in production in 2025 than Traylon Burks, and you can stamp
Oh.
that.
I'm
First
with
of all,
Wes.
First of all, I get hurt walking to the stadium because my knee swelled up just going up the stairs, so I wouldn't make it to practice.
Let me. So I know we get the break. One more question. I mean,
Sure.
do you feel bad for Burks? I mean, you're a receiver. You've been in that room. You played in the NFL.
You know, I've been in that situation, so I would love to sit and talk to one day. I've been in that situation to where you felt like you're the underdog. They brought Dyson, they brought Yancey Thigpen, and you felt alone. You felt like, you know, I can't do this. But here's what Traylon Burks can do. He's got two choices: to get better or get bitter. And I think that if you get better, you say, you know what, regardless of what happened in the past, I still can write my story. I can write my book. I can do some great things, regardless of how my story started. Same thing with Derek Mason. Derek Mason's story didn't start off happy, but now he's about to be inducted into the Tennessee Hall of Fame. That's how you that's how you rewrite your story. You don't
100%.
You don't write your story of just sitting there, oh, woe is me. You write your story. Say, you know what? Even though I'm crying, even though I'm hurting, even though it's painful, I'm going to write my story. And guess what? My story is going to be beautiful at the end, even though it didn't start good at first.
Amen to that. Chris, always enjoy these conversations,
Get
my
it.
man. Have a good weekend.
Hey, love you, brothers. Thank
Love
you,
you
man.
too. Chris
Bye-bye.
Sanders,
Bye-bye.
Forever Titans wide receiver, joining us here on the program. I want to get into that and kind of get your thoughts on the heroes thing, because when Bud told me about that yesterday, I was like, man, that's a really good discussion to have, because I don't think they have that right now. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it's how can they get back to the way we felt. And maybe it was just because it was new, we had never had it before. But I think there's something to that. 615-737-1025. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, and we are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight as the Sounds continue their series against Gwinnett. Pregame at 5:50, first pitch 6:05. Sounds baseball presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Chasing Big Joe here on this Friday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. The Heroes question. Again, this stems from our owner, Bud, went to an event yesterday. Burke Nihill was speaking and basically was talking about when the Titans first got here, they had heroes, and they were trying to build this team, this roster into that again. I think, Derrick Henry could have fallen into that category, but honestly, I mean, he might have been the only one, really.
To me, hero is not Eddie George or Steve McNair. You don't hate me for this, but I'm taking it a different way.
Okay.
Hero is the men and women in the police car every day. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at these guys as heroes. I know that's just the way I look at things now, right? Okay.
I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I agree, but like to a kid,
yes.
And that's kind of where this stems from. To a kid, like
when
I was a kid, Eddie George, like he's a hero, like he's heroic, like you kind of look at him like that. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So I don't use the word hero for that, but I use the word important.
Right.
And Eddie was important. Steve was important. I mean, those guys were important when they first came here because, my God, they put the city on their back and look what they did. They put the Nashville to a whole different level. I think those days are gone, Chase, because I don't think athletes really care that much about being like that. You're not going to find an Eddie or Steve
I think
anymore.
Some do. And I know it's way too early to tell. But based on some of the things I've heard this kid Cam Ward say, I feel like he does care. Like there is, because like Joey from Gallatin, Texas, that Shador was like, hey, we should do a song together, and Cam's like, yeah, dude, I'm here to play football. I only care about football. And so I'm just saying that when you say like, and you're right, a lot of athletes today don't really care because it's all about them.
Right.
I don't think that's the case with him right now today.
It's just very hard now because you look at these guys and you deal with them. You realize a lot of them don't care, but then you find the ones. We bang on Jeff Simmons all the time here, but that charity that Jeff Simmons has off the field,
sure,
does some amazing work.
He has done a
great
job.
I look up to that dude. Yep. I mean, I look up to him, what he's done on and off the field. I think that's the thing. What are they doing on and off the field? And right now, they're on the field is not so much.
Jeff Simmons is a great example of this because I think a lot of people like him and, kind of look up to him. He could be that hero type with what he does from a charitable standpoint, how he plays on the field. His biggest problem is he lets some of the negative stuff get to him too much.
Sure.
And if I could give him any piece of advice, and look, do as I say, not as I do, because I let it get to me too. Like just log off, man, because your play, who you are as a human, what you've done with your career off the field should speak for itself, because like he's a good freaking dude.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to, and I'm just.
So let me ask you this. What did Steve and Eddie and Frank and Chris, what all them have in common? They won.
Yeah.
And that's why we were endeared to it. If they started out the first 4 or 5 years and been 3-13, 5-11, but they came in, and you're right. You're a different generation than I am.
Sure.
So I didn't have pro football growing up. I didn't.
Yeah.
You guys are lucky. You don't remember a time when there wasn't pro football here, which is great.
Well, I do, but
which is great. No, it's nothing wrong with it. So you remember. I get the hero thing with those guys. They're larger than life.
I think for me, that moment, like with McNair, when I was just like, this guy's Superman, was that play in the Super Bowl where Kevin Carter is all over him. He should have been sacked 8 times and got out of it. Like I will never, that will be embedded in my mind for the rest of my life of just that guy getting out of that.
So, I mean, it's the don't quit. Don't quit.
Real quick, let's go to the phone line real quick. Clay's been waiting very patiently. Hello, Clay. Oh, I guess he's not there. He got impatient with us. That's okay.
How dare
He
him?
hung up. Dr. Crane was back there like, what is he? No, he's
I was
he's
like,
gone.
he's gone.
He's dead. He's dead. Oh my God.
He's gone.
That was you.
I've told Clay there's a time to call. It's in the 10 o'clock yard. He knows what time it is.
Exactly. That's okay. Coming up next, Brian Callahan spoke to the media yesterday. There's a little funny story behind that with Joe and I will tell, but we will hear what he had to say about the quarterback competition. We'll talk about that coming up next. Chase and Big Joe on this Friday, and join Big Joe tomorrow from 10 to noon. Coleman Tractor of Nashville for Kubota Orange Days. Exclusive deals on compact tractors, 0 turns, and more with special financing available. That sale runs from 9 to 2 with demos, deals, giveaways, and lunch from 11 to 1. You know he'll be there for that. That's at Coleman Tractor of Nashville, located at 7221 Whites Creek Pike in Jolton tomorrow. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game on this Friday. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe, Nick Frazier, Dr. Crane behind the glass. Brian Callahan spoke to the media yesterday, the fine head coach of the Tennessee Titans. And before we get into that, I do have to tell a quick story. So Joe and I, have kind of decided like, hey, if it works with the schedule, we're going to try and go over there more and hear what they have to say. I went over on Monday, listened to Chad Brinker, Mike Borgonzi. They put the release out that Callahan and some of the players are going to speak on Thursday. So I'm like, cool. And I said, all right, I'll head over there. And Joe's like, yeah, me too. That'll be great. So I pull into the parking lot around noon, chilling, eating my Chick-fil-A, listening to DVD. They got a good topic going. I'm like, all right, I'm here early, so I'll just kill a little time. Again, 1:00 was what I was thinking in my head. You were thinking the same thing.
100%.
Just kind of hanging out, do. And then I look, I'm like, oh yeah, there's News 2. They're here. They're here early too. So finally at like 12:30, a rainstorm had moved by. Ricky had driven by. Like, I mean, everything was fine. I was like, you know what? I'll go in. I got to use the restroom. So I'll go ahead and go in. So I go in and like get up to the floor where the media room is and everything. And like, yeah, nobody's here. Where everybody is. I guess I'm early. Okay. Go to the bathroom. Just kind of do. And then I noticed that because they do the press conferences in their TV studio, and I'm like, the on-air light's on. Well, that's weird. Wonder what they're doing before the press conference. Then I walk into the media room, and that's when I had my uh-oh moment. I see everybody's laptop and backpack, and I'm like, huh. So I pull my phone up again, and I look at the email, and son of a gun, the thing started at noon.
Then you text me.
I saw May 1.
Right.
And my brain said 1:00.
I'm a block away. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I just laughed too.
So the moral of the story is, just read a little closer. So Joe and I were going to go to the press conference, but yeah, so that happened. But I think we've all been in those moments before, but I was like, you got to be kidding me.
It was like, and traffic was awful yesterday too, as well, to get over there.
Oh, it was, and getting back and everything. But
so what was the big takeaway?
I mean, I don't know if there was really a big takeaway. I mean, this is kind of what I wanted to get into. This is the Will Levis conversation, how he fits into all of this. This was Brian Callahan yesterday, if he's talked to Will since the draft. All right, so that was a very long roundabout answer. I still don't know. Have they talked? I mean, I basically, and I'm not trying to put words in Brian Callahan's mouth, but I'm just going to tell you how that sounded to me. Is essentially like, yeah, I don't really care what he thinks. Like I mean,
yes,
like that's kind of what it sounds like. I have felt, how we used to be able to tell with Vrabel when he was out on a player.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I kind of get that sense from Callahan. He's out on. He's been out on Levis. He was hired to, hey, see what you got with this guy. We didn't pick him, so whatever. And then he figured it out pretty quickly. Like, hey, this ain't the guy, and they've moved on.
You're not the guy, pal. Dilemma question for you.
Okay.
They love Cam Ward.
Yep.
He's really good,
Yep.
according to them. What if Will Levis beats him out? Now, is that a good thing because they're lavishing all this praise on Cam Ward, or is that a bad thing if Will Levis beats out Cam Ward?
So
Because I'm 50-50 on that.
I want to play another clip.
Okay.
And then I'll answer that question. This was Callahan on how he plans to divide up the reps with quarterbacks at OTAs, and then there's a follow-up. Okay, so I mean, is he telling us they're going to carry 3 quarterbacks this year, which they probably should. But anyway, what I take away from that is there's a plan. We're not going to tell you what the plan is. We know what the plan is. And I think what the plan is Will Levis is not going to be on the team by the time they get to training camp. They're not going to say that. They can't say that. They won't say that. I know that Borgonzi was asked straight up if there was any intent to move him during the draft, and he said no. But again, I think that ultimately that's going to be what happens. That, and I heard Robbie and Joe say maybe he starts training camp here, but by the end of it, he's gone. I just don't see a scenario, because to your point, and we've talked about this, what if he outperforms Cam Ward in training camp?
Right.
They're not going to give him the job, but how does that look?
Is that an indictment on them, or is that like good job, Will?
No, it's an indictment on they took a quarterback number 1 overall in the draft, and they like in their mind and in the NFL, in everybody's mind, well, you got to play it.
But there's not a chance Will Levis is a starting quarterback.
I don't think so. If there, I mean, look,
we
this
saw the nightmare. I don't want to go through it again.
And I'm sure he's going to come back and look better. And like, I guarantee you that if he's on the roster in training camp, the first couple of weeks, he's going to look like Marino. I'm just telling you that right now. Like, that's what's going to happen. He's going to look like a freaking Hall of Famer, just because that's what always happens. And Ward's going to look like a rookie, and everybody's going to freak out and be like, oh, Levis is playing better. You got to start Levis. What are we going to do? Oh my God. And then,
Lord, you heard?
But that's going to happen. And that's going to be the reaction to every person in this town.
So you think it's best that camp starts or Will Levis is nowhere to be found?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if your plan is to go with Ward and make Ward the guy, you unretired Warren Moon's number to give to him, and you're going to tell me you're going to sit him on the bench, even though I would sign up for that. But all the things you have done have basically said, he's our guy day one.
Oh,
Don't give me this BS of there's competition between 4 guys. We know good and well Tim Boyle, friend of the show, has no chance in hell of being the starting quarterback for this team.
How dare you? How dare you say he can't start? I don't.
You just had to do that. Didn't
I
you?
don't
You just
know,
had
how
to be. You had to be a.
When did Malik Willis get traded?
It was during camp. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure,
And
or end of camp. I think it was after camp, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the end of camp.
are we headed to a Billy Volek, Jeff Fisher situation here?
I hope
We're
so.
going to find Will at the airport.
That did not sit well with me.
I tell you what happened is that Fisher lied to me. Well, how did he lie? He just lied to me. Well, how did he lie to you, Billy? He just lied to me.
Yeah, he had no.
We all caught him at the airport. I was like, this is fantastic. And that's when Kerry Collins walks in the bubble like the day earlier, and there it was.
Did you change a texter's name to James Hetfield?
I did not. James, big fan of the show.
Somebody did.
James. I mean, what's James got to do today, right? He had a concert last
hanging
night.
out.
Nothing to do. I just think you make a very good point that he needs to be gone by the time training camp starts. It just has to.
It'd be better for Will. It'll be better for the Titans.
Because that's the question everybody's going to be asking.
Call Jacksonville. Call Pittsburgh. I mean, look, Pittsburgh doesn't have a damn quarterback right now. So call Pittsburgh. Call Art.
Why don't you go to the CFL?
No, I mean, I think Will's good enough to be a backup in the National Football League.
There you get to play.
Well, okay. But I mean that's not a likely scenario. Call Cleveland. They want a 6 quarterback. Why not?
Speaking of a Cleveland quarterback, something just came out about Shedeur Sanders, which has me laughing, and I might have you laugh. I read it to you.
Okay. We'll do that. Plus, I want to hear from the people on this.
Yeah,
like if you're
let 'em
buying,
go.
If there's a competition, 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. It is Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel on this Friday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is, of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. But we understand we're on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless. Legendary.
I guess that was Shedeur Sanders. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 the game on this Friday. And I'll let you get to that before we continue the Will Levis stuff.
No, go ahead. I'll just read. Came out about the Giants. He had a meeting with the Giants. They sent him the playbook, said go over questions. He don't study the playbook, shows up at the Giants pre-draft meeting, according to this report, and it's questioning their leadership and what they could do for him. It's just these stories are starting more and more to come out. And so the opportunity to play quarterback is not a right. I mean, it's what is it? Not a privilege. It's a right. It's not a right. It's a privilege. So quarterbacks look at it that way. And that's the same way we talk about Will Levis. I mean, that's guys are fighting for their job. And who'd you rather have, Will Levis or Shedeur Sanders?
You just took the words right out of my mouth. I was literally about to say, I can't believe this is an easy answer for me. But if I went to you and I said, I'm going to give you the 33rd NFL franchise, but your quarterback is either Will Levis or Shedeur Sanders, without question, it would be Will Levis.
100%.
Like, I wouldn't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Will works his butt off. He's a good guy. He just makes dumb decisions on the football field.
I agree. And that's why I think we were disappointed. It's like, here's all this.
I wanted him to work.
Absolutely. We saw him in Miami just take the team down the field and win in overtime. Yeah, he made a dumb mistake in that game, but he also led the team to victory. And we're like, that's who we need to see here. And we didn't get to see that here. And that's the problem. I think we're all disappointed that the fact we know there's some talent there, but it did not come out when it needed to during these games.
Interesting text here, 3337. Everyone says to let the quarterback sit for a year and develop him just as long as it's not behind Will Levis. And Levis knows the offense. This is the first time he's ever played in back-to-back offenses. I think that is an interesting text. And I mean, to answer your question, yeah, I think if Ward could sit and develop for a year, that would be great. But no, I would not want it to be behind Will Levis, because Will Levis isn't Alex Smith. If you're going to use the Chiefs comparison, Mahomes sat for a year because they had Alex Smith, and they were a good team. They weren't a rebuilding team. They were a good team with an established veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
Will Levis is not an established veteran quarterback. He's going into year 3. Like he's struggled. So it's a different situation. But I like the text. I mean, because the truth is, yeah, I would love for him. Like if they came out tomorrow and said Brandon Allen is our starter, Cam Ward's going to sit for a year, I know you all would freak out, but yeah. I would sit here and go, okay, I'm cool with it. No. I get it, because guess what? That's a plan.
Not at all. That's the number 1 pick in the draft.
That's fine.
I want to see him
That's
start.
fine. You can feel that way.
Yep.
But and again, they're not going to do that. There's no chance in hell. You don't unretire Warren Moon's number and do all the stuff that they've done. But if they did that, I'd be like, okay, I'm fine with it. Because I see why they're doing it. Yeah. But you're right. Those days are completely done. Wes in Clarksville says, why are they still holding on to him? Let him go now and give him a chance to find another job.
What if nobody wants him?
I mean, who knows? Chip from Mount Juliet. The bad thing is there are practice and training camp players that excel there only. A false narrative when the real game starts. We all saw that with Levis.
Yeah, do you even go through the list of guys I saw in training camp that never did anything on the football field?
If we could field a whole all-pro team of training camp darlings, that 8-3 or Devin and Dixon says Cody Rhodes is the American nightmare. Will Levis is the Tennessee nightmare. There you go. Hair Metal Henry says the quarterback competition is about as real as me beating out Scotty Scheffler for a Ryder Cup spot. I think you could take Scheffler.
No doubt.
Nevada Josh, Moon's number sitting on the bench. Ouch. What a way to start the new era.
Oh.
Also, how do they expect fans to buy a Ward jersey if there's a chance that he could be sitting on the bench? Kind of a hard sell jerseys when they're bench players. He's not sitting on the bench.
He's not. Also, if he sits on the bench and they're like, we're not going to play him this year at all, and your team is 1-8, they're going to call for your head. They're going to call for your head. We're not going to play him. It's not going to happen. He's going to play immediately. And good, he should.
Shador doesn't work or isn't a good guy. Y'all sound crazy. Shador had a better college career and is clearly a better decision maker. What can Will Levis do better than Shador? Then explain this to me. Why the hell did he drop to the 5th round?
5th round. Yeah.
He got taken in the 5th freaking round. Like, I'm tired of people with this narrative sitting here going that he's like this, this great quarterback talent. He is. He's talented. But the problem is he was a freaking bleep head going into all the interviews, thought his stuff didn't stink, and listened to Daddy the whole time. And Daddy got in the way and kept telling everybody how great his son was and wouldn't shut the bleep up. And he dropped to the 5th round.
That's right.
Like, just stop. You know why. Like, I'm tired of this. And I hope that he learned from it. I hope that he's humbled, and I hope that he proves himself. And I would love for Shador Sanders to become an all-pro great quarterback, but he did it to himself.
Yeah. There's no collusion when everybody knows you're an idiot.
Exactly.
So I don't have you to tell me to know that he's an
There
idiot.
are multiple reports coming out, just like the Giants. Read it again. What he did with the Giants.
They gave him the playbook and said, look to the playbook and let's talk a few things about it. Did not open the playbook, went to the camp, the pre-draft meeting, and questioned the team leadership and what they could do for him, according to this report.
Right. He made it all about him. I mean, so like, don't sit here and act all butthurt and surprised.
And you're going to put your job on the line for somebody who doesn't care about you? No.
Yes.
No, we're not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. No coach is going to do that.
Jared from Spring Hill said a fart head. By the way, Joe Rexroad and I had that discussion about replacing the F word with fart or the S word with fart, and it actually does kind of work. So
Good.
I need to do that more.
Same.
But I mean, it's just like, so yeah, that's the point. Like, I don't think Levis is a great starting NFL quarterback by any means. I mean, hell, they just drafted his replacement. But I'm saying in the conversation of between those two, I'm taking Levis because I don't think, I mean, the biggest knock on Levis was he grabbed a bag of potato chips.
Right.
In the pre-draft meeting or something. Like, come on.
Let me ask this before we go to the break. If there's no trade partner by midway through camp or before camp starts, do you cut him? I mean, he's not going to be there. Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, should you? Yeah, but will you? Probably not.
This is going to be going into camp, brother. Man.
Oh, for sure. Justin wants to weigh in on Levis real quick. Justin, what's up?
What's up, guys? No, really, the thing about Levis is, does he really want to be there? Like, from his perspective, how awkward is it really going to be for him? Like, knowing that he's got his replacement sitting there and they're saying all this competition nonsense. Nobody believes that. Not even Will. Like, he wants out. Like, there's no reason to keep him around. Just let him go.
Well, I mean, look, I get your point, Justin, but look, I tell people all the time, don't quit till they tell you to get the hell out of there. Go fight for the job.
Yeah, that's true.
Just go fight for it. I mean, I know, Chase knows what's going to happen, but go fight for it anyway. Still be there.
I mean, he probably will, but I just don't see it. We all saw his show. We saw that we bought the tickets. We saw the show. It was a dud. I mean, so, he might fight for it, but he still is just going to be a backup at the end of the day.
Yep. 100%. Thanks for the call, Justin. Appreciate it. We'll continue this conversation and much more coming up next. Chasing Big Joe here on this Friday, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, and also Vandy baseball in action this afternoon against Alabama. Pre-game coverage at 5:45, the first pitch at 6. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and thegamenashville.com. Chasing Big Joe broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership with a buzz. Is always about great service. Also, this week's Nashville's best deal, Prince's Hot Chicken. Joe's wearing the shirt. The original and iconic hot chicken joint. For a limited time, grab half off a $25 gift card at theGameNashville.com/deals. A lot of spirited discussion on our text line about the Will Levis thing and all of that, and including one on Shedeur Sanders as well. But let's see. 3337 says, if you're Callahan and you have to win games, wouldn't you want a real competition? Want the guy who gives you the best chance to win, whoever it is? I don't care who plays, just want the best chance to win on Sunday. That's a fair point. But do you really, in your heart of hearts, think that Will Levis gives you the best chance to win right now? I don't know if Cam Ward does either, but like,
good point.
But like you've seen what Levis is. I mean, you saw it in game 1 last year where he just like makes the dumbest play of all time. Now, maybe, to the earlier texter's point, maybe he's learned something, and has better decision making with the second year in the same offense, but I don't know.
No, that's a good point. We don't know till camp starts. And if Will Levis beats him out, what does that mean? Cam not any good, or Will's elevated his game to another level? We don't know. There's going to be a lot of drama for camp, and we love drama.
All right, we got it. 7829. You're hearing your narrative. That's fine. You're hearing what you want to hear. You're not listening to the entire conversation. You're making your narrative, and to get your 15 minutes. So here you go. He says, you said a bunch of nothing. That doesn't explain y'all saying y'all would start a team with Levis over Shedeur. It's laughable. Y'all are clueless. With Will Levis was an absolute clown show pre-draft. Stupid questions about marketing to Manning, mayo and coffee, eating banana peels, stupid thirst trap picks. You dudes are lost.
But then we can be found.
We can be found. The statement was, with all the stuff that Shedeur. Here's the deal, though. Levis dropped to the second round, the first pick in the second round, not the 5th. And Will Levis wasn't going to teams saying, what are y'all going to do for me?
Right. Pretty simple.
It's out there.
Mm-hmm.
It is documented that Shedeur Sanders and his father were doing that. That's my point. You're right. Levis can be an idiot too, especially on the field, making dumb decisions. But between those two, like right now, I'm taking my chances with him. Now, that's a hypothetical question that's never going to come to fruition.
Right.
But like, you're
you're
hearing what you want to hear.
I said during the break, you got to put your professional job on the line for a kid that doesn't care. These reports come about Sanders doesn't care. You're going to put your coaching job on the line and be fired in a year because this guy cannot come in there and act like a pro? Nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. And I still think somehow along the way, there was a phone call to the Browns to say, can you draft this guy? I'm telling you, that might sound crazy, and that's fine, but there's a reason he went to the Browns. I think somebody called.
I think Jimmy Haslam called. I think Haslam said take him. I think Haslam had to do with that.
Yep.
Jay from Clarksville, just let the best player play whatever his number is.
That's what we said all along. Just let it go. Have the competition and let it go. If you're going to keep Will Levis on this team, let him compete for the job.
Nevada Josh makes a good point. If you guys are lost, then where is he? Because he's listening to y'all.
Right. Come find us.
Help us. Save us.
But thanks for listening, Lost Guy.
Look, I mean, here's the deal. Like, we disagree, 7829. Like, I mean, we're having a spirited discussion. Now, I don't call you a clown or say you're clueless, but we appreciate it.
Sure.
We appreciate you listening. That's
Absolutely
fine. We can agree to disagree on this, but dude dropped to the 5th round. Like, I mean, that's telling you something. Viking Matt says, what's crazy to me is how Kiper and company reacted to Sanders getting taken in the 5th round. Yeah, well, Kiper reacted that way because Kiper was wrong and looked like an idiot. Right. That was a problem.
I'm not disputing Shedeur Sanders playing quarterback for Colorado. He made some great throws. got the hell beat out of him games and stood up there and delivered the ball. It's all what's happening off the field that these teams don't want to deal with. You come into a meeting and it's like, hey, all right, did you read the playbook? Yeah, y'all ain't any good. And what can you do for me? I mean, just there's no telling what all was said and went down, but these are reports that are all coming out now.
615-737-1025. So I mean, I think I will say this, to have the discussion of Levis and Cam, up until training camp, obviously will be nice, but I still stand by at some point during training camp, Levis is going to get moved, because I mean, what happens if a quarterback for another team goes down? I mean, you're going to need to add a veteran, so it could certainly be possible. Let's go to the phones real quick. Neil has been waiting patiently, has a comment on the Titans. Neil, what's up? Neil. Going once.
Neil.
Going twice. Goodbye. All right. Well,
imagine waiting all that time.
I think sometimes it hangs up, but it doesn't hang him up, and I go to him and it's just silence.
That's what we got there. Sorry.
The sounds of silence. Coming up next, we will tell you what day it is. I mean, we've been a little feisty today. I'm feeling good.
Yeah,
ready for Metallica round 2. Dr. Crane's going to build a table. I mean, it's going to be.
I'm going to do something today.
Smoke some meats. Oh, what are you going to do?
By the way, I got an update on that.
Oh, yeah?
I did.
How's Skillet?
He got tagged.
What does that mean?
Means he got spray painted and they know which one is mine. So Skillet is mine.
Okay.
What, you didn't know who it was before?
No, I knew which one it was, but I was told because there are people that are going to pick him up, they had to figure out which hog it was. And
so hang on. Is it almost time?
Oh, June's right around the corner, baby.
So he's got about a month to get his affairs in order.
He sure does.
Can we have a question? Can we have a question of the day, like right before this happens? Like, what's Skillet's last will of testament?
So his will actually is me going out there and trying to figure out what cuts of meat need to be put a certain way.
Do you talk to him about this?
I mean, I just look at him like, hey, here's the leftover food from last week.
Okay.
And he eats it and he loves it.
Real quick, who's coming to pick him up?
Somebody out that my uncle knows. I don't know if I'll be there for it, but I know the people that will be doing the processing.
Oh, okay.
So it's the people that are processing.
All right. So now I'm fascinated by this. So when they go to pick him up, do they do the deed then, or
not on property? No.
Okay.
At their facility, yes.
How do they do that?
It's a great question, Chase.
Do they just?
There's called a dressing weight. So basically, once the little graphic, once the blood is drained from the body, that is the weight that you will be paid for.
Yeah.
And so after that, that's where I'll make the payment.
But I mean, here's like my question, and again, this is a heavy subject here.
Right.
With a pig. For those of you that don't know, Dr. Crane has a pig named Skillet,
Asian
a hog
Waller.
that he plans to have slaughtered and eat. So a lot of different things there. But I mean, like, do they take him out back like Old Yeller? Like, do they give him a shot and he just falls asleep? Like, I'm curious by this.
So the euthanization process, I don't know if that is the right term to use, because if that would get injected into the bloodstream that gets into the meat, I don't know. That's too much into the brain. I don't know the full logistics of this. I'll ask. How about
I don't
that?
think if you give them medicine, I don't think you're allowed to eat the
Correct.
pig, right?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, you don't want to do that. So
have you gotten down and wrestled with him and played with him and tickled him?
No, Joe.
Nothing. Pigs love their
you know
belly.
what's going to happen, right? Like, this is going to be like when Homer got the lobster and got attached to him and then didn't want to eat him, and then ultimately puts him in the bathtub and boils him. But
no, I think Dr. Crane knows.
I think Dr. Crane is trying not to fall attached to the Skillet, but I think
I'm very attached to the
you
savory
named
flavor
him
of all this. Yeah, I know.
You don't name what you're going to eat, dude.
Yes, absolutely, because Skillet is going on Skillet.
So real quick, you are quick to correct us when we say pig, but it's a hog.
It's a hog.
What happened? I thought he was a pig.
No, once you get to a certain weight, all that changes. That's from what my uncle told me, because if the hog turns into a boar, which is possible after a certain amount of weight, I think like 900 pounds to almost 1,000, because the tusks start to grow out from the mouth. That's what happened to Hank, and Hank got goodbye.
There was Hank?
Yeah, Hank.
I don't
I'll
even know
show you
about Hank.
I'll show you a picture of Hank.
So once they grow tusk, you can't eat them?
Well, the meat it turns gamey. It starts to taste real bad. You don't want to eat that. There's too much testosterone in the body.
Okay, so there's a difference between pig, hog, and boar.
I believe so. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. All right then. Thank you, Marlon Perkins.
8970 says you shoot a hog in the head to kill it. Okay, good to know. There you go. Coming up next, we'll tell you what day it is. We have covered a lot of ground today, and celebrity birthdays. Chasing Big Joe on this Friday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase and Big Joe on this Friday. Breaking news out of the NBA. Shams from ESPN Charina reporting that Greg Popovich will no longer be the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. He will transition full-time to team president. Sources told ESPN. The iconic Popovich is a basketball Hall of Famer, the NBA's all-time winningest coach, and led the Spurs to 5 championships. Of course, he missed this year, had a stroke, but it looks like Pop is calling it a coaching career. Not too surprised by this, but certainly is, the great one of the greatest coaches of all time.
One of the most underrated coaches in any sport ever.
Yeah. Oh,
ever. Yeah. You said, I thought he won 5 titles. That's amazing. And so, yeah, good for him, man. You did it your way.
So yeah, congrats to Pop, and hopefully his health is good and everything's getting better. With that, let's get to what day is it in celebrity birthdays. It is brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc. Above and beyond industry standards. Visit them at jarrettcompaniesinc.com.
All right, gentlemen. First, we have Baby Day. So shout out to the babies out there. Enjoy life. Brother and Sister Day is today. International Sauvignon Blanc Day. If you like a nice wine.
Yeah.
Let's see. International Scurvy Awareness Day.
Oh, to all your pirate friends.
Arg. Guard. International Space Day. International Tuba Day. So if you played tuba back in high school, you're not a nerd. You're a good guy or a girl, whatever. National Fire Day. National Life Insurance Day. National Play Your Ukulele Day. I don't know. If you play guitar, can you play ukulele too?
No, it's a different tuning.
Okay.
I mean, you kind of, but it's a different tuning.
Gotcha. All right. Next is National Truffle Day. Looks delicious. National No Pants Day.
Every day.
Recommend putting pants on.
Yeah.
Unless you're Winnie the Pants.
Unless you're Winnie the Pooh. How does he get away with it?
Exactly. Public indecency.
Yeah, right.
Come on now. Next, we have School Lunch Hero Day. So shout out to those, the lunch ladies. Let's see. Take a Baby to Lunch Day. And wrap it up, World Tuna Day.
All right. There you go.
Thank you. All right. Time for America's favorite segment, Celebrity Birthdays. You got to get these within 2 years. Our first celebrity birthday, actress Christine Baranski. She's been in 1,000 things. The last being The Good Wife. Christine Baranski.
58.
50.
73. Oh, now. McGavick, man. He's a wrestler. He's an actor. He's a billionaire. But we know him best as a guy that went to McGavick. The Rock. How old's The Rock today?
Dwayne is 52.
56.
53. Chaser knows his Raiders. Good job, buddy. On down the list here. David Beckham. How old's David Beckham today?
53.
44.
50. Come on, y'all. Should have got that right. On down the list some more. Oh, Ellie Kemper from The Office, the secretary, took over for Pam. How old is she today?
44.
46.
45. You guys are the push on that one. All right, let's get some good ones now. Singer Engelbert Humperdinck. After the Lovin'.
82.
80.
89. Country singer R.C. Bannon.
72.
65.
80. Singer Luke Graham of Foreigner.
74.
70.
Gosh, he's 75. Chaser up 2-0. God, that makes me really old. Country singer Ty Herndon.
63.
34.
63. Chaser knows his country singers.
I do know.
TV commentator Micah Brzezinski. She was on Morning Joe. I think she's married to him and they're dating or something.
I think you're right, actually. 43.
50.
58. Actress Jenna Van Oy from Blossom.
41.
48.
48 exactly. 4-2 Chaser. Actor Kumal and then Johnny from Kumal and the guy that goes to White Castle.
You mean Kumar?
Is that Kumar?
Yeah.
Kumar Rocker?
I mean,
This is Kumar.
Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
This is not him. This is somebody else. In Kumar. He was in The Big Sick. He's in Silicon Valley.
47.
42.
Chaser nailing it. 47 exactly. Even when I mess up, Chaser's still there. Princess Charlotte of Wales.
Crap. Which one is she? 72.
61.
She's 10. A good job. On that
okay.
one.
That's is that William and
Yeah, I guess. Brad,
I don't get into that stuff. Okay. I don't care.
Brad Richards.
The hockey player?
Yes.
47.
46.
45. It's now 6-3. Kyle Busch.
39.
37.
40. Change for that. We got one more left for our birthday. Pat McAfee, who, by the way, has me blocked on Twitter. Pat McAfee.
He will be wrestling the Ring General Gunther coming up at Backlash in a few weeks, next weekend. Pat McAfee is 38.
40.
What a week for Chase McCabe. 38 exactly. Chase your win goes out 9-3. Well done, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thanks for playing along with us, having some fun. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Watch the weather as well, and we'll be back with you on Monday. DVD coming up next.
Hey, say hi to Chase if you see Metallica tomorrow night. That's not fair. Talk to him. We go out there and see him tomorrow night.
Get through my
He's like,
security.
Ask for an autograph.
Yeah, do something, man. Have him buy you a beer. Hey, listen to our guys out there. The weekend is here. You've done great. Our world is a better place because you are here. Please know that and know that we love you. If you're going through anything on your cell phone, you can call or text 988. Somebody's always there to talk to you. Before you do anything, please talk to somebody. Know that we love you. And more importantly than anything else in this world, God loves you.
Peace, love, rock and roll.